Florida was going through an interesting transition. They had been all male from, well, they were rechartered in 1974. Well, I was about the fifth transfer to come in from a co-ed chapter in the last year. And we decided, some of them had apparently decided the summer before I got there that they were going to advertise Rush as for women and men.
Yeah. Was that like out of the ordinary for that time?
Yeah.
Like,
it was.
was there pushback?
There was a huge pushback. Their 12 chapter only had about 30 active brothers, and about a third of them during the semester walked away and never came back.
Wow.
They tried some really underhanded, devious tricks to declare the pledge class null and void. They got one of the deans involved in it. It was ugly. But at the end of it all, they inducted 10 new brothers, half of whom were female.
Okay.
And in the meantime, here's Richard getting so involved with all of this and not involved enough with my graduate program.
Yeah.
And at the end of the semester, my professor sat me down and said, look, we just don't think you're cut out for this. And I finally, at the age of 29, agreed. I understood that I was not doing this for myself, I was doing it for my parents.
Yeah.
And over the next semester, I stayed in Gainesville, took some classes, and stayed active with all these people. But I started visiting botanical gardens and thinking, this is the kind of thing I really want to do.
Yeah.
You know, the education part I love, the research was just not for me. So somebody in the graduate program told me about this internship at a place called Longwood Gardens, which is it's in Pennsylvania, but the closest city to it is Wilmington, Delaware. It's about 30 miles west of Philadelphia.
Okay.
And he said, they've got this internship program. You might like it. Well, it turned out I had been there before, just as a visitor, and it's an amazing place. I ended up spending basically all of 1992 living up there and working up there.
How'd your parents feel about that?
I think they were okay with it. I think to this day they're a little disappointed in me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, parents always have like a idea of what you want your kids to end up being.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe they weren't like fully disappointed, but it's like,
yeah,
I really wanted you to be a doctor, lawyer, and but at the end of the day, as long as you're happy, I feel like,
Well, the other thing about me that I'll share is very personal, but in 1994, I was diagnosed with depression, and after telling these pros about it, they concluded I'd probably been suffering untreated from it for 20 years. And what depression does is it throws cold water on all of your ambition, your drive, your get up and go. So I had the brain power, I just didn't have the motivation. And it has, it's probably, if it hadn't been for that, I probably would be a high-powered research scientist making 4 times what I'm making now. And I think when I found that out, my parents kind of understood what was going on. But at the end of that internship, where I met some great people, enjoyed it immensely, probably would have applied for a job there, except for the fact that I will never live north of here. Winter is long and hard on me here.
Yeah.
But it was just a year, 10.5 month long blast. I loved it. Now, there were certain things that living with 10 other people in a house
Oh, wow.
was a little challenging for me.
Yeah.
the day started at 7 a.m. and I'm a total night owl. So it was a bit challenging.
Were the other people also working at the garden?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so when I got out of there, worked over in Cary at the SAS Institute headquarters doing interior landscaping for a couple of years. That was an okay job. It just wasn't very, very challenging. And then I went to UNC Charlotte and worked in their botany greenhouses and taught botany labs for a couple of years. I was on a 2-year contract, and when things, let's say, didn't work out, it wasn't renewed. Moved back here and worked on a garden center. Well, I applied for a position over at Duke, and the lady I interviewed with called back and said, well, you placed second, but there's this guy from the Museum of Life and Science posting flyers. They want to start a butterfly house. You might be interested. So in February '99, I started there, and I've been there ever since.
Yeah. What's the butterfly exhibit like?
All right.
You never been?
No, I've never been.
Wow.
I'm going this Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're coming this Friday? Well,
Yeah.
So we have an 84-acre campus, indoor and outdoor. We have 2 main buildings. One has a lot of science exhibits, and we have like a nature park around a pond with animal exhibits and ways to connect with nature, observe things. And then my part is a 5,000 square foot glass tropical butterfly house with trees and plants and tropical butterflies and other insects too. You'll see. We import butterfly pupae. Some people call them cocoons, but that's actually a moth.
Okay.
Didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Or pupa is a butterfly. We buy them from butterfly farms. We hang them up in a window so you can watch the butterflies come out.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We release butterflies into the room.
Okay.
And
It's beautiful.
It's one of the real star attractions in the Triangle.
Or in North Carolina in general. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably the best exhibit I've ever gone to.
And when you all interview with me, the ones that are from this area all, to a person have been there on field trips and have told me
dozens of times. Yeah.
I tell them I helped start it, and everybody's really impressed.
So the 25th year anniversary should be coming around then, right?
Is.
When is that?
25th anniversary is this Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
17th of
This
April.
Wednesday.
We're not, unfortunately, it sort of snuck up on us, and we're not really doing anything special. They did give me a little 25th anniversary celebration.
That's great.
Last
Yeah.
month, but I will probably retire from there. I'm 63. I'm planning to work about 5 more years. If I'll still like it, it's the only downside is that, the benefits are great, the work is great, but the pay is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I basically, my parents subsidized some things that I wouldn't be able to do, like living by myself in an apartment and traveling and things like that. I wouldn't be able to do that if it weren't for them, but it's been a pretty good gig. A little frustrating at times because we're a private nonprofit, and they just don't have a whole lot of money to pay their staff, and that's life.
Yeah.
And
well, I'm sure they're very appreciative that you stayed so long and so well.
Yeah.
I mean, that shows.
Is there any other like coworkers you have that have also been there like for a long time or as long as you?
As a matter of fact, I started the same day with our insectarium manager who takes care of all the other non-butterfly critters in our building. And he and I consider, and he's black and will be 60 on Wednesday.
Oh, so on the anniversary.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I call him my brother of another color. We are very close. We become very close friends.
That's great.
Yeah.
And one of the things he's done with me, I grew up in a very white neighborhood in North Raleigh. And he has educated me a whole lot about black people. I appreciate you all a whole lot more. I appreciate the struggles that you all have had to go through. And, you know, my parents have been insulated from all of this. And they just don't believe in white privilege. They think that's just a bunch of BS. You know, my parents got more conservative as they got older, and my dad, both of my parents voted twice for that man.
That man, yeah.
And we sort of decided that when I visit them, we will not talk about politics.
Yeah.
I think that should always be
too much to have a falling out with them over this.
Yeah. I mean, that should just be a rule every time you see family. I mean, politics is like, I mean, we ban it for Thanksgiving, like for our family. Like, no one's allowed to talk about it. If you talk about it, you have to go out of the house.
My dad will be watching one of two things when I come over. They're in a retirement community in North Raleigh. He turned 90 last year. Mom is 88. He will be watching either a sporting event or Fox News.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks that it is such a polarizing topic that can't be talked about, because it definitely should be something that like should be, I feel like in the opposite, should be encouraged and like be like talked about more, but like that only can happen in a world where people are more like accepting of others' opinions. But you know, thank you for the sentiment, and you know, I mean, it means so much. I look up to you as just an advisor for our, you know, me and Max's fraternity, but you know, as someone in my life who I've like, you know, I feel like really embodies a way that I want to follow.
I hope so. That's what I strive for.
Yeah.
And part of it is being more understanding of people who are different from me.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I haven't done that in a while. It seems like every several years I come out to everybody in APO, and I haven't. And when I was young, because of my interests that were different from other boys,
right,
I got bullied and called gay and told that was a bad thing. And what happened was when I got to be a teenager, and I actually found out I actually was one of those, I was horrified. And I just decided not to deal with it for the next 20 years. I'm just not talking about this.
Right. Yeah.
And I finally, in the mid-90s, I finally got with a very good therapist, and we dug it up and, you know, started. And, you know, I don't make a big deal about it. You know, I've decided to be single. I've decided to live life single. That's just the best way for me to live. Yeah. But I do things with other LGBT people, and and I'm kind of a low key involvement. I don't really get out there and march in the streets, but I can relate to those people as well.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned so much about you in these like 28 minutes. Like I didn't even I had no idea of that. Yeah, but I'm glad that you're like open enough to like talk about that.
I've never mentioned it because I feel like it just doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal. People make such a big deal out of it,
and it's so great that it's that way these days. You know, it's one of the reasons I enjoy being around people you all's age, because you all accept all that.
Yeah.
And my family was totally accepting.
Glad to hear. I mean, I bet that was a big like. I mean, I couldn't even imagine like having a conversation with my family.
I sort of gathered from what my mom said, and I think this is true of moms around the world. She sort of implied, "Oh, I've known that all along. I was just waiting to tell you when you're ready." Yeah.
Which is good they didn't try and force you out or anything as well.
But let's go to the sports side.
Sports?
I was going to say, yeah.
I mean, before we even talk about the Final Four run, I want to hear more about the 1983 like I mean, like going all the way.